This is time and place for a city commission meeting on March 21st, 2022, 5:30 evening. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Here.
Weinrice.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Harrington.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on, do we have any agenda to our amendments to our agenda tonight? We have one from our HR Director, Nathan Hofer.
So in the consent agenda, I have a wage correction for hiring Brett Christman. He's going to be one of our new police officers in town. He came on board as a certified officer as well as a DARE instructor, and I missed those certifications when I was figuring his wage. So the new wage will be grade 16, step C, $24.56 an hour, effective on the 2nd of May.
Okay.
Should all have that in front of you.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Nathan. We'll put that under the consent agenda. It'll be under 6.5, number 2.
6.6.
6.6. I have number 2. I have it here. 6.5, number 2. First time I've been right in a long time. So it'll be under 6.5, number 2 is where we'll put that. Need a vote on, a roll call vote on, a motion on that, please.
Move to approve the amend as agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Bragg moves to approve, second by Commissioner Weinrich. Roll call vote, please, on the agenda.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrice.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, moving on. The City Commission adjourns to convene as a Board of Adjustment for the following public hearings. And with that, I'm going to turn that over to our planner, Mr. Cranston, and he will tell us what our Board of Control or adjustments doing tonight.
Yes, the first matter before you will be a conditional use permit that is being requested by Jeffrey Van Winkle to operate his a marijuana dispensary to be located out at his greenhouse location out on Old Highway 14. He will be modifying his building. That is a B3 zone, and it meets all of the qualifying criteria. For example, it's not within 1,000 feet of the school or 500 feet of a park or anything like that. So Mallory Wild is here to speak on behalf. Unfortunately, Jeffrey couldn't be here. He had a family emergency. So,
Okay.
So Mallory is affiliated with his organization.
Okay, welcome, Mallory.
Hi. So I'd like to start by saying thank you for the opportunity. I'm Mallory Rosemore, and I'm with JS Consulting along with Glenn Youngman. And we're representing Jeff. As Barry just said, he's gone for a funeral. So to start, what sets us apart from some of the others here is that we are all truly local, from shop owner to the grow facility to myself as a consultant. We chose to take a slightly different route from the others, and to start, the location chosen on Old Highway 14, it's not as visible. While there's obvious reasons for others to choose locations in the downtown area or along Dakota, we know that a lot of locals would likely prefer something that's not so in your face, and a bit more discreet for patients and caregivers as well. This location is far from any churches, schools, heavily populated residential areas, or bars. And the types of businesses that are zoned in that area currently are not the type to attract younger people or certain crowds that would linger. From a safety perspective, we have a wide open space surrounding the building versus the busy downtown and Dakota locations. It allows for better visibility, and our high-end security setup far exceeds the minimum state requirements. This includes everything from the amount of cameras, the pixels for clarity, the monitoring system, and the company performing the monitoring. Another safety point to make is that we're the only facility in town that will have a drive-in and drop option. So this means that when the product is delivered, the secured vehicle will enter the building before unloading rather than outside on the street. There's no access to anyone under 21 years of age. It will be clearly stated outside and inside the property. With the modifications that are being made to the building, there won't even be access to the sales floor without first verifying identity and age in the ID check area and then being buzzed through. Even from the sales floor, there's no public access to areas where the product is stored. Employee entrances are separate from the public. Even employees will have restricted access to any product. This will only be handled by management, and employees will also be trained in safety and security that's specific to this facility. As for odor control, the filtration system will be more than sufficient for the job. The product will all be prepackaged at our local and recently licensed grow facility, Dakota Natural Solutions out of Wessington, and that is run by Glenn. Other than that, we will have a limited amount of display product for patients to see and smell, and that is it. As for employment, not just anyone will be hired. There will be an in-depth interview process including background and reference checks. It will be expected, as in any other industry, that the applicants fit the position. If it's management that they're applying for, we expect some history in that field, and so on. As for the sales floor representative, they will be educated on the products directly from the grow facility so that the public can be accurately informed on what they're purchasing and how to safely consume it. The signage will be simple and have the name MJ Apothecary. There will be signs on both the building and the light post on the property. The sign on the post will be double-sided and lit, and all product will be shown inside on a digital display. The product will also be sold in child-resistant, tamper-resistant, opaque packaging. The operating times right now are set as Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 8 p.m., and this allows other important operations to be handled, such as the product deliveries, inventory and compliance checks, maintenance, and so on within the facility in the earlier hours of the day without risk or distraction from visitors. And if you have any questions, then we'll answer as best as we can.
We've gone through and we've vetted the application, and everything is in order. We have all the LLC information. We have the building, the layout plans and things. So they've submitted everything that we need. The hearing examiner did hear this application and recommends approval, as do we as staff.
Okay. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Commissioner Weinrich moves to approve. Need a second on that motion?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Begg. Now, is there any questions for Mallory in this? She was pretty thorough, I might add.
I have a question,
Yes,
Mayor.
Mr. Smith.
And maybe directed a little bit towards Barry or Mallory. There's an attachment, an email attachment in here regarding the waste, solid waste, which is different from the other requests that we had. Am I correct?
The refuse that the hearing examiner, Mr. Sletton, was talking about, he was wondering about product waste. But again, in this case, the product will be pre-packaged. So there is a process that DANR is working on, you know, for loose leaf refuse. But in this case, there will be, you know, some minor refuse, but it'll all be contained within a locked room.
So it'd be same as the previous two applications.
Correct.
They've just included that documentation
Right,
in their presentation.
and that was one of the things, because I had asked Jeffrey about that as well, and he understood that, and he actually reached out to Dale Fortin, and Dale Fortin is in the process of working through that with DANR.
That's the only question I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mallory? Seeing none,
I-
thank you.
I have some.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
You
all
got-
right. That's all right. Mallory, you were very, very thorough in your presentation, and I appreciate that. You answered a lot of the questions that I had written down, but you did raise a couple more in your presentation. You said you wanted out on Old Highway 14, so it's not visible. And you alluded to that somewhat, but why would you want to have a business and not have it visible?
I think this kind of a business is going to create enough just in its existence. It was more about pleasing maybe some of the people that don't really want to see it in their face.
Okay.
And the other places are in very visible, busy locations.
Sure. Another question that, that I had as you were speaking was, you wanted it in a place where teens wouldn't linger? Do you
Yeah.
think they will? Or
No, I
do you
just-
fear they will?
No, I just wanted to make sure that it's clear that it's less likely to have people congregating in an area out there versus somewhere downtown.
I see, okay. And then, one last one that I got from your explanation was, you said you're going to have it available for see and smell.
Yes, as far as I understand, even the other dispensaries will be doing the same thing. They usually have product that is on display. It's not for anybody to take. It's just for them to actually see what they're purchasing.
Sure, but if I'm getting a prescription from my medical doctor,
Yes.
I guess I've never smelled my medicine before.
It's,
You know,
yeah,
I guess.
it's a different process for medical cannabis, and I suppose it's probably weird when
Sure.
it's not something that a lot of people are familiar with,
Okay,
but
and kind of, okay, that stuck out a little bit
that
for me,
is
I
okay.
guess. One other question or some other questions that sorry about that, Mayor, can I keep going?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
You said
okay.
two, but we're giving you a little
Oh.
less.
She did answer quite a few, but anyway, maybe you alluded to this too a little bit, but a pharmacist, do you have any pharmacist or pharmacy experienced people
I
on
don't
your
believe-
staff or
I don't believe
that
that.
you're looking for?
I might be confused, I'm not sure if I said anything about a pharmacist. What do you mean exactly?
Would there be plans of having a pharmacist available or on staff?
Oh, no.
It's not mandatory.
Yeah.
That's not required.
I understand.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if it was something that they were thinking of.
That would be something that maybe you'd have to ask Jeff at some point, but I don't believe so.
Okay. And then if he is the sole owner, if Mr. Van Winkle is the sole owner, or if he has partnerships, that's none of my business, but do any of those people have experience in pharmacy or medicine, medicine, prescriptions?
No.
Okay.
It would be the experience of the facility producing the product.
That's really all I have right now, I guess, unless some more discussion comes up. Never know.
Okay.
Thank you, Mallory. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mallory.
I do have one question for Mr. Cranston. Is there, I know when we were talking about recreational marijuana, we were talking about a number, we had to limit a number. Is there for medical marijuana, is there a number that we can only get to, or we strike?
Yeah, we have a limit of 4.
We actually haven't discussed recreational.
Right.
Because that hasn't been legalized in the state, so all of our conversations have been regarding medical.
Yeah, but we have a maximum of 4 dispensaries, 4 growing
Oh,
operations,
okay.
there are 4 establishments in each one of those categories.
My mistake, Rich, thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying
I know
that.
it seems like it's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this has all been medical.
It's gonna go on, it's gonna continue.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Yes.
If we're ready to vote, I would like to take a little time to explain my vote that's coming up.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have to, but I want to. Okay. I know 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had 2 young gentlemen in here, and they were They came in for the same thing, and they, both of those dispensaries were voted in unanimously, okay? Therefore, I voted for it, okay? I'm going to say right up front, and Ben is probably gonna paraphrase this in about one sentence, but I can't do that, so, I'm gonna vote no on this, and I want to explain my no vote before I do it. Not to say that I have to, but I want to. So, I have talked to a lot of doctors of medicine. I talked to several pharmacists, and none of those people so far have gotten on board with accepting, or not necessarily accepting it, behind this to promote it, I guess. That concerns me. And I know I aired my concerns on the problem with opioid. We all know what that is. And I just am afraid that we're opening a door and we're setting another, thing out there for a potential problem. That's my personal opinion. I have nothing to back that on except for my personal opinion. I would be in the very much wrong if I didn't air this out, because of the people that I am representing, and they asked me to vote no on this because of the concerns of the problems, and I just don't agree with it. And that's me. I'm over the fact that it can be a medicine. Far be it from me to say that if you have an ailment and this helps you, I have no right to tell you you can't do that. And since we have voted that in as a state, I have no right to say that. I just don't agree with it. And so, while this is a local business person, I'm sorry, I wish he would have came forward first. But I'm gonna vote no on it, and that's I'm not justifying my vote, I'm explaining my vote. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Nay?
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you, that passed. Okay, moving on, Barry,
Okay.
we got a 3.2 to discuss.
Yep. 3.2 is a conditional use permit application filed by Mount Calvary Lutheran Church at the project address of 688 Dakota Avenue South to operate a child care facility where code requires a conditional use permit for this use in an R5 multifamily district. So, yeah, okay, so.
It's me.
Yeah, Deb is gonna speak.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Let's get a motion to approve
Yeah.
first and a second, and then we'll let you talk. Have a motion on this item?
Move to approve.
Move to approve, Mr.
Second.
Rovers, second, and Commissioner Smith. Roll call vote on that.
She-
Discussion first,
Yeah.
there we go. You're up, Deb.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Well, you're really trying to make it nice, aren't you?
Thank goodness, I'm not prepared, so I'm just
Whatever.
gonna let it go with that, okay? I'm Debbie Bush, and I'm representing our daycare that we'd like to get at the Mount Calvary Church. We right now have a preschool going, and we'd like to incorporate a daycare also. We've gone through a lot of the motions that we need to go through with the city and the state and different things like that, so we would like to have a daycare facility in our church. Any questions?
I guess I've got some comments.
Yeah, okay, go
We
ahead.
we looked at this as staff, and I've explained this to them. My only concern is the traffic being routed into what is currently an alley on the east side of the church. And so, if we approve this, one of my recommendations is that we, approve it with the condition that the traffic would be routed, the exit traffic would be routed onto Seventh or Kansas, not through that residential area. And they can do that through signage and directional, you know, but we don't want the traffic to go up in the alley behind the existing residential neighborhood.
And we totally agree with that, and absolutely with our preschool now, we already have that directed going the other way, so. We
Barry,
totally agree with Barry.
Barry,
Yep.
can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Okay, something that after the meeting that we had in the year before, one of the things that I started
Why don't
thinking
you come
about.
up? I'm sorry, I should have stopped you right
I was
away.
making Debbie do this.
Name
whole
and,
microphone.
Yes.
yeah, name and address, please.
My name is Dawn Anning, 710 Custer
Okay.
Avenue, Northeast.
Thank you.
I started brainstorming that, and I had told you that if we put it in our policy and procedure handbook for all people coming through, but how hard would it be for you guys to allow us to have, just during that time period, what if we had a one-way sign just right there where the church is at, so when they're dropping them off, that they don't attempt to go that way?
You can buy
Can we-
signage, you know, that would be portable,
Going down
similar
the
to
road.
like what the crosswalks have for schools.
Okay, that's,
So-
because that's what I,
That would be,
The
we would
easiest.
have no issues with that if it was just put out temporarily.
right, just during the week, put it out there Monday morning, pull it down Friday night. when we're done with
Probably
everything.
daily.
Right.
Because you
just-
wouldn't want like the
Right.
neighbors to, you know, if it's a neighbor wanting to go to their own house, you'd
Right.
hate for the
Exactly.
sign
Because there are
to-
garages and vehicles
Yeah.
drive through
Yeah, and I
there.
saw that, because I went
So
to see
we,
what it was.
if you're gonna put out signage like that, you probably wanna do that on a daily basis.
Okay. And I don't think that'd be a problem.
I don't-
Yeah, yeah.
Don't foresee any issues with it.
Nope.
Sure, other issues on this one, Barry?
No, and so we looked at this and the hearing examiner did recommend approval. He did, you'll see in your packet, he did make a recommendation that the conditional use permit fee be waived. I would caution you against that because there are precedents would have to be considered in doing that. So I would recommend that you not do that. But other than that, we recommend approval.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the planner.
Yes.
Barry, do you have any other conditions other than routing traffic?
No, that was really it.
Okay,
Just the traffic routing,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions for Deb?
I have a question, Mayor.
Commissioner Smith?
Debbie, is there plans for outside recreation with the kids, like, are you just going to?
Well, right now.
Debbie? Hi, it's me again.
Are you going to use Campbell Park, or what are
Okay,
your
so
thoughts there?
for right now, when the state fire marshal comes in, he's gonna explain those things in a little more detail. For right now, our plan is to use that sidewalk to take us to that park there. It is considered a field trip, for lack of better words, that we can use. However, when he comes and we visit with him, the idea would be that if this passes, this goes through, we go to our voters, that type of thing, that we would try to have what we would call a temporary play yard in the parking lot. And we would try to have it as close to, it's Christine,
Yep.
that has a daycare there now up by that fence. And so my understanding in working with the state is that as long as the play yard is 4 foot tall, you know, the collapsible ones, I don't know if you're familiar with those, but there's a collapsible play yard. As long as it's 4 foot tall and it has to be per kid square footage, as long as we have that out, some fake grass or whatever you may be and have, you know, that out there, one that we can take down, store and put back out as we need it.
Yeah,
That's kind of the direction we're trying to go with that.
yeah, I guess where I was thinking was if it wasn't in the parking lot, directing that traffic, or those kids, you know, it's spring day, they're gonna wanna get out and move around and stuff, and teachers probably want them to get out and run off some energy, so it'd probably be better to move towards Winter Park rather than Campbell Park to avoid
Oh, I'm sorry,
running
yeah,
across.
Winter Park.
That's what we do now with our preschool.
Preschool,
We wander
shoot
that
them
way.
over to
Yep, yep,
Winter Park,
That's
yeah.
what I
yep,
was saying.
yep, yep. Good?
I applaud your church because it's highly needed in the community.
Desperately needed, yes.
We're hearing volunteers to work there.
Can score on it, do it.
You wouldn't want this. Any other questions for Deb? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrich.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
All right, moving on. We're gonna go to 3.3, Barry.
Okay, the final here is a variance request that was filed by Terry Smith. His house, his address is 575 24th Street Southwest, and he wants to construct an addition that would be only 10 feet 6 inches from the north property line, where code actually requires 30 feet. In an area zoned R2. I've looked at this property. The house was actually constructed out of conformance, you know, so it's already got setback issues. Because the lot is only 73 feet deep. If you need 30 in the front and 30 in 30 feet in the rear yard, that only leaves a 16-foot house. So that, and it's bigger than that. So this is just merely a 10-foot, roughly a 10-foot addition off would be the northeast corner. It's not going to be visible from the front. It'll actually take up part of the patio that's there now. Unfortunately, the contractor was going to be here for this, and he has had an emergency as well, so he couldn't be here. So if there's any questions, I have looked at this property, and I have spoken to the contractor on a number of occasions, so I'll sure try to answer them for you.
And your board.
And the hearing examiner did recommend approval, so, you know, there was, other than that, there was really no comments other than, he was not, the contractor was not available for the hearing examiner.
Barry, there's a, I drove by there's a shed, is that coming out?
That'll
then?
come out.
Okay. And so,
Yep.
I mean, aside from the setback, are they okay on total
Yes.
lot per square?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
building on that.
Yes,
property.
and we did look at
Okay, but
that.
they,
When you take that shed out of there,
right.
then it helps hold the line for the ratio.
Okay.
Let's get a
Thank you.
motion to approve on this before we get too far down the road.
Move to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Weinrich, second by Commissioner Robish. Okay, now, any more discussion on this item?
I would have a few questions.
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
So I apologize, I didn't drive by the lot, but, or the project, but, based on the sketch, the addition will be on the north side,
Correct, the northeast,
away from 24th Street.
right.
Any concern with the neighbors?
No, in fact,
Their voice?
if it would have been on the west side of the house, that would have put him right up close to that other house. But since he's kind of on the northeast corner there, there's actually more footage of separation from that house to the north. So, and he is going to meet the setbacks on the side.
Any concerns with water drainage or anything like that?
It'll have to be drained just, you know, to the front, just like everything else.
To the west?
Yeah, it would be to the south, to the front, so that he's not draining onto his neighbor's property.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this topic? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinrich.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. The Board of Adjustment adjourns to reconvene as the City Commission. Public forum, public comments may be sent during the live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at www.huronsd.com, city government. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with YouTube and Gmail or use your existing accounts. Please state your name and address for the record. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Our director, Human Relations Director, Nathan Hofer, is sitting on the computer in the back of the room, so if you want to use your Gmail and ask a question, Nathan will take the question and present it to the commission. If we have an opportunity, we'll answer it for you tonight. So with that, does anybody else have anything for public forum tonight? I have one thing for public forum then. Last week in consent forum, we appointed Terry Schultz to be a member of our airport board. He's taking over to fulfill a term that Bill Anderson had. And I failed to mention the career that Bill's had on our airport board. I wanted to do it, I just overlooked it for some reason. Bill has been on our volunteer for our airport board for 14 years. He's been a very good board member. He's a pilot, so his knowledge about flying in airports is something that he doesn't come by natural, but it's something he's learned over the years. He will be missed on our board. He is just one of the shining examples in hearing of people who volunteer to make our city better. And so I just wanted to give him a heads up that we did appreciate him for all this time. So, all right, moving on. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion, unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given items. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed in the beginning of the formal items. Consent agenda for tonight is 6.1, minutes of March 14th, 2022, City Commission meeting. 6.2, fuel quotes for city departments. 6.3, special event on-sale alcoholic beverage license for top floor events for a chamber mixture on April 12th, 2022 at People's Transit, 120 Wyoming South. 6.4, appointment of Danielle Brotherton to the Huron Get Fit Committee for the remainder of the term. 6.5, personnel items. Recommend hiring Beverly Dunn for the library technician position. And 6.2 is our amended one. And I'll read that again. That's amended to wage correction for the hiring of Brett Christman for the police officer position, grade 16, step A at $23.60 an hour. Brett is certified officer and eligible for grade 16, state B at $24.07 per hour. Brett is also a certified DARE instructor and eligible for grade 16, step C at $24.56 an hour, effective on or before 5/2/2022. Moving on, 6.6, payment of the bills. You have a roll call vote? Motion not, have a motion?
So
Move to
moved.
approve.
Second.
Commissioner Smith moves to approve. Second is Commissioner Weinrich. Now we can have a roll call vote.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Point of clarification. On here, on our packet, we have a 6/5 set April 4th as a public hearing to consider funding for Board of Water. Does that need to be read on and voted on?
Yes, yeah, for a
Okay.
public hearing on April 4th, for water facilities plan.
That's not on my agenda here.
It's not on yours?
Just want to make sure that it'll be
Yes,
approved though with
so-
our
Published
motion.
agenda has it on.
6.5 on the published agenda sets April 4th, 2022 as a public hearing date to consider the funding from the Board of Water and Natural Resources for the Huron wastewater treatment project.
All right, that wasn't on my agenda, but we got that corrected, so.
There we go.
Motion stands.
Still stands.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Second, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Petitions and communications. Paul Linder, you're going to talk to us about 8.1.
Yes. This is a new license for out of Putters and Scoops. You can see in your packet because that's owned by the city, we had asked for a mapping of area that it encompasses, so you can see that on your map. We received no comments on this for or against. It has been inspected by the fire chief and the building official. There's a suppression hood, does that sound right? And an exit sign that still needs to be put up. So we'll hold the license till they're inspected again and done, but otherwise we ask for approval.
Need a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Mr. Smith, need a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Any questions on this item?
Just got one question.
Yes.
Maybe Deanna can answer this. We have mapped it, what is the location, but as far as the alcoholic consumption, does that have to be inside the facility or anywhere within this red?
Mapped areas will be considered the legal description for the license.
So there will be able to be, you could drink anywhere that the red map is.
Correct.
Have you thought of glass and at the park, and are you gonna allow any?
Absolutely no glass.
Okay.
No.
Are your intentions on allowing people to drink outside of the actual building?
Yes, to have them be able to drink, on like the patio area, as well as in the mini golf course. Yes. But absolutely no glass.
Mr. Mayor, just to follow up to that too, since the picnic shelter is included, right now, if people use that picnic shelter, they come get a, consumption, but would they be able to use that shelter and purchase the alcohol from there and not have to come and get a consumption license?
They could, yeah.
And then if she's not serving at that time, they could still also get a consumption license? That wouldn't
Correct.
conflict with this?
It's allowed to get the consumption from us.
Right.
It's off hours for her.
Would she control the use of that? Like if somebody wanted to rent the shelter area
The
and
shelter
get their
areas are, they're rented out by
They
the
rent
parking lot
out.
department.
Okay.
I have a question for Pauline.
Yes.
You said that's a new license, Pauline?
Yes,
And you mean new for Putters and Scoops or new for the city?
it's a new for Putter and Scoops in the city. We don't have a limit on our malt beverage South Dakota wine licenses.
Okay, so enlighten me again, what does this consist of? Retail on,
Retail
off
on,
sale?
off sale, so you can buy and drink it there, or you can buy it and take it, and then South Dakota wine.
Okay. And then, I guess, does this go through, did this go through the Parks and Rec? Maybe I'm gonna ask Deanna, I guess. Did this go through the Parks and Rec Board?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lake and Riverfront.
What's that?
And Lake and Riverfront.
And Lake and Riverfront? And this is known as basically a family place, right?
Correct.
Was there any, what was the discussion on that?
So I want to be able to bring in more of the younger families that are coming back to town, that are going to come out there and maybe play a round of golf with their kids and have a couple beers instead of sitting in their backyard.
Yeah.
Or leaving their kids with a daycare and then going out to the bar. I want to be able to bring them out and get them in a different setting, get them using the different facilities that are out there. Maybe they might do a little bit more, be able to take walks around, all of that extra on top of what we would offer them.
And having heard this at the other committee meetings, we're approving, so this could be all hours, but do you want to talk through kind of your intentions is not to have this?
It wouldn't be all day, every day. My intentions would be to be after 5 p.m. during the week, and then on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, when we host most of our larger events out there. We will have putt-putt golf league out there, so to be able to bring people in for that. More people are just out there on the weekends. But during the daytime, during the week, that's mostly kids that are out there. So I don't want them to have access to that.
Thank you.
We'll be working with the beer distributors to be able to put locks on the beer cabinets that are there, Obviously, we'll have to have certain people of certain ages to be able to hand it out. So that'll all be in the works. You know, just different type of things. My kids go out and they clean the beach every night before they leave, so to make sure that everything's cleaned up. We'll have recycle bins for any cans. Those will go to the Make-A-Wish guy, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name. So, I mean, we've got all these moving parts that are going in motion once we can get this passed.
I had a question. A person came up to me after reading this. They go out there and Saturday afternoon, they sit and have ice cream and pie at your place. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday afternoon, are these elderly people gonna be sitting there, and I might be one of them, and there's gonna be a guy sitting here drinking beer in the shop, in the where we
Yep.
sit. They have a problem with that.
So if you go to quite a few of the other restaurants in town, and you wanna sit down and you have a hamburger with your soda, the guy next to you can sit down and have a beer. You know, it's all different facilities. I don't see most of the people sitting inside of the shop having a beer. I see them outdoor in the patio in a little bit larger groups than a single person.
I'm just relate to you the fact that these people come to me and ask, will they go to your place because they like the environment, and now the environment's gonna be changed. And that was their question, so you answered it, so they probably won't be coming out to see you again, because they're,
I'd like them to try and make sure that the environment hasn't changed, because I don't expect it to change.
you got people sitting here drinking beer, it's gonna change. I don't care what you say, but what you've had, it's gonna change. Okay, thank you for your answer. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Just, and Chad, maybe you can answer this better, or Deanne. So with a temporary license, you could use the picnic shelter there.
That is correct, yep.
Is there any signage in relation to that as far as no alcohol beyond this point or anything like that? Is there anything put up there?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I can't say that 100% for sure, but I don't believe so.
I can't either, Chad, but,
Yeah.
to your recollection, do you recall?
To my knowledge, there is not. There could have been in the past, but stickers get peeled off of signs and things like that over the
Yeah.
summer, but I do not recall
I
ever seeing.
think the only sign that we have on there, Commissioner Smith, is the one that just shows that it's reserved. You know, we mark down if somebody reserves it at the office, we just write down the time of the day. I feel like that's the only sign right now.
One, because of the boundary, how it's laid out, one suggestion I might have would be to have some signage specifically to the beach. That's what I'm looking at, you know, so people just don't start wandering out to the island, and whether they buy it from the establishment or not, you know, it's just maybe a little bit of a boundary sign, if you would.
Yeah, that can be done.
That might help keep the kids in the, or not the kids, but keep the people, the patrons in the area designated for it.
May I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
If you put up a sign and you say, no alcohol permitted past this point of the island, which is not anything I would cover, but there are weddings that happen out on that island, and if they buy a special permit, is that special permit gonna allow them to do that, means I have a new sign up there?
I would anticipate under a special permit, you know, that would come before us and.
That wouldn't cause a hiccup for you
Yeah.
guys then?
Yeah,
Okay.
but for this purpose, it would designate
Designate some areas.
ongoing, because it's not a temporary license, it's a yearly renewal.
That's good,
And I wonder to that point, maybe if if there could even be, just again, the size of the boundary does surprise me, because I had heard this presentation before, and I'd seen that large of an area, again, right abutting the beach. You know, I wonder if maybe in addition to not having signage that says nothing past here, maybe we have a designated area, you know, because I know, kind of having talked to you, what your plans are, that wouldn't infringe upon what you're doing. Maybe we'd be better to put up some specific, just because I think, you know, some of what Commissioner Smith is talking about is if somebody's out there with a can and our law enforcement, you know, has to go challenge them, it'll be, well, no, I bought it here, isn't this okay? Maybe we do, even if the license allows this, we could put some signage in to kind of restrict it to a tighter area. Because I can see people bringing it right down to the edge of the water there. I'm not sure that's not what you're intending.
No, and actually the map doesn't go to the water. It
Right,
goes
that's what I'm
to
saying,
the,
but it,
yeah.
because it goes all the way to the bottom of the steps to the edge of the park, or the sidewalk, you're essentially, you know, as soon as somebody takes one step into the sand,
Yeah.
now you're not supposed to be there. So maybe if you could, put some signage up, you know, right in the golf and right in the patio where you're really intending it, and make that clear to people that that's where the usage is meant to be. That way, we don't have to get into, well, is the sand okay? Is the island okay? Is the walking around the lake okay? It's just, no, if you're purchasing it, you're doing it right up here at the facility, since that's, I know what your
Yeah,
intention is
that's the
anyway.
intentions, yeah.
I know, just going off the map, it extends quite a ways to the south. I mean, basically about a third of the parking lot boundary. You could tighten that up. Basically the south border of the facility, if that would help too.
I think,
I don't know the directions.
yeah, it's out in the green space, Deanna, on the
Oh,
south side.
there's a lot of people that have picnics out there.
Oh,
in
is that
that area,
purpose?
out to like the first tree, and there's like a bench down in that area. There's a lot of people that will sit and have picnics up there while their kids are down in the sand and out playing in the beach, where they can see them from there. Where if they go over into the grass in the golf course area, they can't see their children. So that's why I put that there, and that, I mean, that can be moved,
Yeah,
but that's why I put that there.
that helps explain why it's
Yeah.
that far south.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and there's a lot of flowers there that get really big, that take up a lot of space.
So you guys put this map together, this red outline? Or I thought this came from you, this red
Does
outline?
not come from me, no, it was a
Yeah.
recommendation from Parker and Rec and
Okay.
Indiana.
Any other questions?
I don't have any questions, Mayor. I have a comment, and I'm glad someone else got calls on this, besides just me, and you said you did, so I'm glad to hear that. And this is a stretch for me, but Deanna, she highlighted it very well as far as the restaurant part of it goes. You go to a restaurant and some people have a beer sitting at the table with you, not next to you, with you. And so, while it's a stretch for me, I'm over that, and I get what they're saying as far as changing the environment. And I can appreciate that very much. This is a stretch for me, but I'm glad to see some initiative on trying to get some more business, whatever you want to say, hangout. So,
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
aye.
Wainwright,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Robish,
all right.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Pass, thank you, Deanna.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We're going to go to departmental items. And 9.1, we're going to have our HR director come up and explain to us 9.1. Please.
Okay, so as we had our work session on last week, this is kind of just up for voting on the changes that we discussed on our CDL policy, and if there was any questions or concerns from you guys on the red line stuff that I changed about our program that we're gonna start for in-house CDL training, so. If there's any questions or comments, open that.
Need a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second?
Second, Commissioner Smith. Okay, any questions for Nathan on this topic?
Just
Yes,
one,
Commissioner
you know, we
Waters.
kind of threw it back and forth last week on the cost and having it come out. You said you wanted to have it come out first paycheck, right? The $250.
When they get started, I would say, so I mean, they have 60 days to get their
Yeah.
permit.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't say the first paycheck, but I would say the first paycheck after they get started on it.
Okay.
We would take out the lump sum of $250 and then.
But then that is reimbursed once they've completed the,
So how it's written is either the completion of your CDL program and you actually acquire your card in hand, or 1,040-hour probationary period, whichever one is greater. So if you do happen to get it in the first 6 months, we're still gonna hold you $250 for your probationary period. And then if you leave before that, then you don't get reimbursed. But if it takes you longer than that, at the date of your completion with receipt, we will reimburse you your $250.
Any other questions for Nathan on this topic? Yes, Commissioner Roach.
Again, it's not a question, it's just a concern. Along with Mr. Weiner, I say, I guess, I know it's easier that way. I understand that. I just hope it doesn't deter some from trying that. $250 doesn't sound like a lot to some people. To some people, it's a lot.
And it's meant to be a lot in my application of it. I want to get their attention, and I want to make it serious, so I wanted to make it enough that, you know, this is something we're serious about, and that it just costs us some money. You'll get it back, but we expect some sort of accountability.
It's not that we're not serious, it's a law. We have to do it. There's no seriousness about it. It's just the idea of taking that money. That's my concern.
It's my way of ensuring some accountability.
you know, because another thought I was thinking of is, why charge, and then if they leave before whatever, then it comes out of their last paycheck, you know, if they don't complete it, you know. If we're gonna pay for it anyways, it's almost like, you know, why not just, we have it in the policy, and if they don't complete it and they leave before the whatever, then they stick it on the last check or something.
This way ensures that they get it done, so that they have it, so that they can operate our city vehicles. You know, it's instead of, you know, waiting until the last check to, you know, well, maybe they get it done, maybe they don't, you take $250 from them when they start. I'm hoping that they take the ambition to get it done in a timely manner, so that they can operate a CDL as their job description requires.
We had an issue with people not completing
Other certifications, but not necessarily CDLs, but this is a whole new program here where we're doing it in-house, so I wanna, you know, make sure that we're getting it done pre-task instead of catching up from behind.
I agree, there should be, some skin in the game for them also. I agree with that. But I'm just, I don't know, I get hung up on that.
I don't think it'll be an issue based on their
drive home,
alternative options.
To drive home
of
and
$5,000.
fill your tank with gas and buy your groceries, your $250 is gone. It's gone.
Any other questions or comments on this? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Nay.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you, Nathan. Let's see, we're good to go. Nathan, we got 10.1, resolution of commercial driver's license reimbursement.
Yeah, so this is for, like, Paul in to put in the rate resolutions that the cost of the CDL reimbursement will be $250.
Need a motion to approve?
Move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bragg, Commissioner Smith, motion approved. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Nay.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Work session, that's it for tonight. Now we're going to go into a work session.